this presence would just fall on us, letting us know that we were exactly where we needed to be.
2006, when we decided to form Rhema.
We had a chance to go into areas outside of the church venue, like bars and hookah lounges and that kind of thing. And we would go into those places never knowing exactly, what to expect. A lot of times we felt like, the underdog. We went into those areas and we would get on the microphone, and as soon as we would get ready to go ahead and rap or perform, whatever you want to call it, this this presence would just fall on us, letting us know that we were exactly where we needed to be at the moment we were supposed to be there. And it was never so evident as one particular show we did at a bar called O'Malley's. We went there and we did this, we did our thing. We do it just as if we were in front of any other audience, Christian or non-Christian. We, keep it the same. And when we got off the stage, this guy came up to us and he was just talking about how, he had been, making this prayer to God, like basically saying, God, I've done the church thing and, I'm done with that. If you really want me, then you need to come to where I am, because I'm tired of going to where you are and not finding you. And he said when we showed up, it was like he was drunk. He said when we showed up, it totally was like one of those euphoric moments where he was just like, wow, the prayer that I prayed has actually come to pass, and God actually showed up and he's here to meet me, and we got to be that. We got to be that vessel to him, and that was just amazing, to hear that from somebody. We were just doing it, doing what we do, and to hear that somebody had made a prayer and, a person's life was on the line, and if we had chosen not to do what God called us to do, then that prayer would not have been answered. And to know that we were an answer to prayer for somebody, it was just, it just made us really realize that what we're doing is not just about, dope lyrics and dope beats and dancing and having a good time or any of that stuff, but it's about something much bigger, and that's obviously God and his love and what he has for every human being.
Several years ago, when we had the opportunity to travel as missionaries, we partnered with an organization called Book of Hope, which is now called One Hope. They're a local ministry that basically travels all around the world, spreading the word of God through different media formats. And at that time, I was actually working for the company, and actually their corporate offices, and they heard that I actually did music. One of the missionaries actually had asked to hear some of my music one day, and he wanted me to come down and kind of perform some of our music. And KNF and I were a group back then. So what we did was we basically went and kind of auditioned, in a sense, for him, and he really loved what it was we were doing. And he felt like it would be something that would definitely translate overseas. So what we did was we first went to the country of Honduras, and from that point on, we just really got, I guess, caught the bug in a sense for missions and just for outreach. We had the opportunity to do a lot of different concerts and just to reach out and speak in schools and assemblies and share our stories. So from then on, we basically just got addicted to it in a sense, where we just wanted to just be out there doing outreach, speaking to young people, doing music, and just communicating in that way that God had gifted us to do so. So we traveled to a lot of different countries, everything from South Africa, England, Scotland, Eastern Europe, Russia, just a whole bunch of different places. And when we came back, KNF and Butta P were actually dating at that time, and she was doing a lot of local concerts as well, opening up for like a lot of big name acts and stuff like that. And she was a solo artist. When they got married, we basically did some songs together, and we decided maybe let's just try to do some stuff together, because we were already doing a lot of the same concerts and a lot of the same venues together, as two separate entities. So when we did one of the first songs we did was a worship song, and from that point on it just really clicked, and we just really gelled, and the chemistry was just obvious, and it was just apparent, and we just felt like the Spirit of God was really on it. 2006, when we decided to form Rhema Soul and just come together as a group. And now 6 years later, we're still doing it, and God has used us, not by any greatness of our own, but just the talents that he's given us. He's used those to catapult us to a wider audience, to be able to make a living off of doing this first and foremost to just promote him and the change that he's done in our lives, and we've been, we can't see ourselves doing anything else.
Our schedule started getting really crazy. We were working full time, and on the weekends we were literally leaving work Fridays, getting on planes, going to do shows, come home. And it just started becoming a burden on our hearts that this is really what we were supposed to do full time. So as a group, we got together and we talked about it, as with Juan and his family and then us. And we just talked about it and said, okay, we need to pray about it. We need to pray, we need to fast and make sure that this is what God truly wants for us, that it's not something that it's just our selfish desires. And we did it, and God spoke to us all in different ways. It was scary to know that God cares enough for us to show us almost strategically how he wants us to take care of things. And so when we began that process, it was very scary for us, especially being in our jobs. We were comfortable financially, we're comfortable in our careers, we all loved our jobs. It wasn't that we hated our jobs, we loved our jobs. The people that we worked with were awesome people. So when we finally made the decision, God gave us all the green light to go ahead and do it. And when we actually put in our resignations at our job, it was awesome, because at the same time that we told them finally what we were doing, we were all able to actually share our testimonies with a lot of our coworkers and finally kind of open up and tell them exactly who we were, what we did for a living, and why we did it. And it was one of the most freeing experiences for me to know that, wow, I'm able to share with them my heart and let them know this is what God has asked us to do. One thing we've learned throughout the years, just obedience is so much more important than sacrifice. And I think a lot of times we live our life thinking that if you make sacrifices that's the most important thing, but it's not, because you can make sacrifices and be out of the will of God, and it's really not being honored. So that's one thing that we've definitely learned this year, and just trusting in God and knowing that he's not going to lead us astray. And there's been, it's been a journey for us this past year. We've been through ups, downs, all arounds, whatever you want to call it. Last year was definitely a trek for us. It was definitely a faith walk. It was something that I think it just definitely built character. And what we always say, we went through some hard times, man. Last year was very trying for us. We've had moments that were like, God, are you serious? You asked us to leave our jobs for this? But then there was other times that we had moments that were like, man, God, you asked us to leave our jobs for this? It's been a blessing. Last year definitely was a journey for us. We started off last year with this plan. We thought last year was going to be a certain way. We had everything kind of planned out to a T. And they say, you tell God your plans and he'll laugh. And he had a great comedic year for us last year. We had some failures, we had some successes, but to see God, now that the album is done, to be able to look back at our year and see how God's hand was strategically placed in everything that we did last year. It's amazing to know when you have a good team around you who's you allow to keep each other accountable and know that you're a team and we're all striving for the same purpose, and God has put a specific calling on what we're doing, and there's a reason why we're going through it. It makes the walk a lot better and easier to know that's why you're going through it. We're excited for the new album to come out. I think we're praying that it touches lives differently than any other album. I think it's probably one of the albums that we've had that has ministered to me the most, just because of what the album talks about, talking about passion, urgency, and just desires and holding on to the promise, and very inspirational, motivational, that type of thing. And we wrote it in one of our probably valley moments. Yeah, when we're at one of our lowest moments, we're writing music about holding on and trusting God and taking the step of faith and just go ahead and leap off the edge. And it's tough to write about stuff that you don't necessarily feel at the time, but when you can go back and listen to it and your music is able to minister to you as well, I think that's just a powerful thing. We're excited and we're hoping and praying that God will definitely, take us to new places, and we're just willing.
What's going on? My name is Juan.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Amanda, aka Bumpy.
My name is Kano.
And we are Rhema Soul.
No walking away. walking away, walking away.